Greetings, Bob Weigel here of Sound Doctor, and sitting in the studio van today, and loud trucks are going by here and so on, so pardon the noise in the background. Just finishing up a shock mount here for a monitor. I've got a monitor that I've wrapped a nice rubber base around, and it actually sets on a rubber hoopty there I've concocted, and it's going to have this shoelace going into the back of it and keeping it from flopping forward. Rather crude but effective way of putting a shock mount on a monitor in a van, if you ever need to do that, I guess. But anyway, today I want to talk about something that could change your life. Now, no, I'm not talking about just what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a lifestyle of beginning to open your eyes to the different things around and not just do things the way everybody else does them because the book says to do it this way. Because you will find that your life has much more time to do useful, creative, productive things if you don't get burdened by the methods the world is telling you to use. Somebody's, oh, I see. Anyway, you'll also do better if you don't get distracted by people on bikes. What I've got here is an old power craft drill. I've had this since I was a kid. I've been doing it this way, I know, at least for 30 years. When I change a bit, say I want to change from this bit to this bit, okay? Now again, think, I'm not just talking about this, I'm talking about a lifestyle of perceiving advantage in the long term, saving a few seconds here, a few seconds there by doing things in a more intelligent way. Now, this thing has gotten to where it won't hold a 16th inch bit, but it's been 30 years because I know metals well enough. You experiment around with things, you feel what can and can't be done, and you learn your lessons and you do it a different way. But you've got to experiment around a little bit. If you just tighten the chuck all the way down every time, you don't know how much you can get away with. If you're doing wood, which is a lot of what I drill, constructing things, you can do this, 1000, 0, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 6 seconds to change a bit, okay? Now that little trick works great as long as you're drilling wood or soft metals, even where as you get to the end you feel it and you let up and you don't jam it through and make it jam and get it, and then it spins and wrecks your chuck, which I've done many times over the length. That's why the thing will not hold a 16th inch bit anymore. I mean, it's just barely grabbing a 16th inch bit. I've worn away enough metal. Finally, after 30 years, but how much does a chuck cost? And let's do the comparison. It's like 15 to 20 bucks. This is a nice one. It's a micro-American chuck, probably a vintage thing I'm wrecking here, but anyway. What we've got here is a failure to assess the cost advantage, though, and what we're going to do that. So now if I take and I want to change this bit again, 1000, 0, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 9, 10, 11, 14 seconds. It actually took me 16 to test, and I think for the average person it's probably close to a 10-second difference, but even if it's a little less than that, whatever. Fact is, I use this drill so many times, and I'm sure I must do this minimally 200 times a year. And if I do that over 30 years, that adds up to how much time? Well, it adds up to 16 hours of time. I get paid $30 an hour for work I do minimally, 35, 40, so for me that's a savings in monetarily of over those years of 16 time or 17 hours times say 15, since it was a little less of a difference. So 15 times $10 an hour would be $150, 450, plus I make more of that usually. So $500 I've saved just on this one little trick over the years, okay? And it's fun, you don't have to look for the thing, you don't worry about your key getting lost sometimes because, you're in a pinch situation, and then you really lose some hours because you have to go look for a key. It fell off your thing or whatever. I just found mine laying out next to the car where it fell off of my one that has a little clip on the side. They've gotten more intelligent over the years. But again, even if they come up with a perfect way, and this becomes a null and void exercise as far as the specific application, I'm talking about looking at things in life and deciding I've got these parameters to work with practically. I can go buy a new drill right now that's more modern, and I'll save a little time on it. It'll have a chuck thing right here, and I can, you know, until I lose it, I'll have maybe some time savings, but will it gain me anything after I've spent the $50, $100, whatever dollar for a good drill now? I don't know what they cost, because this thing has been an awesome drill. Powercraft, 1970 circa, I don't know when we bought this, sometime around 1970 I think, and thing still runs awesome. So, you know, I need to make a little hole up here anyway, and about a little dust to vacuum up in here, and we'll put in our little part. But anyway, that's the basic synopsis here on that one. And you know, I want to oh, there it is. I want to extend this to things like this is one of my favorite pet peeves. People who sell things on eBay, they charge you these ridiculous shipping rates. I saw the other day $7 or $8 to ship a couple chips that are worth $30. Now you could ship those for $1. Yeah, I mean, if you put them in a little Jif pack and you put them in a tube and you wrap it, and so it's non-machinable already, it's in a Jif pack, the total cost of shipping and materials is $1, $1.50. And why do they have to charge $8? If you add that up, think about that. I ship out a lot of keys and stuff for people, and they're just cheap items. And some guys ask me, how much is insurance? And I'm like, oh, brother. Most people are smart enough to know not to, but some people, there's just a certain dumbed-down sector out there that thinks it's of advantage to spend. Well, first of all, if you send a key, it's like maybe $2, $1.80 to send it in a pack with bubble wrap around it so that it can't break, in an envelope, and tape it in the middle of it real quick, and you're done. You send that thing out, and it gets there. Every time, as far as I've seen, except one guy, I think, lost it out of the hundreds and hundreds I've sent. I don't know how many I've sent, but I've seen probably out of 1,000 packages, I see one will get lost. So say it's 1 out of 100. If you pay an extra, you know, you got to pay to get it insured, or to even get delivery confirmation. You know, you pay 65 cents on a package, and just multiply that by 100. What's that? That's $65. So you've spent $65 saving a $5 item, plus you have to go through the hassle. Why not just send another one and just, you know, get over it? You know, it's not that big a deal. It's a small, low-cost item, and, you know, you got to figure one's going to get lost somewhere along the way. Just deal with it. Those little bumps in life, you know, they can either be a little bump in life, or they can be a gradual absorbing thing that will sink hundreds of dollars into something that saves a $5 item plus costs you a bunch of time. So that's another little time-saving, resource-saving trick from Sound Doctoring, and integrate these things in your life, and you'll have more time to think and maybe to do some useful things. Have a good day.